Thank you for staying with us. The effect of social media in Nigerian political atmosphere cannot be underestimated. From canvassing for votes to dissemination of political news, it could either make or mar an election. For the youth in Nigeria, social media has always been a medium to air their views and debate on the choice of candidates for a political seat. But this year's election was different, as youth came out in their numbers to vote for their preferred choice of candidate. But joining us via Zoom from the United States of America is the convener, Social Rehabilitation, Grace and Support Initiative, Dr. Marindoti Oludare. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Veronica, for having me this morning.
Right. For many years during the election cycle, a majority of persons used to think that the only place the youth were active was on social media, and that didn't translate to anything. But this year's election have shown that the social media activism has translated to the results, has shaped the results and the outcomes we have seen with regards to the presidential and the governorship election. In your view, what gave rise to this change that we have witnessed?
Thanks for that question. Actually, the issue about social media not having an impact on on politics or elections has actually been long disputed, especially when we think about the Arab Spring, which was a political uprising that was started on the social media in 2009, and also even the election of Trump in 2016. If we think about it, to be factual, Trump prior to 2016 was a social media influencer. He was posting things about the Obama gates and all of that. So social media has always had a strong impact on the election. The only thing that actually I think occurred during this course of the election is the fact that because of the prior to the election, because of some of the disinformations that have occurred, social media became a lightning rod for a lot of the youths that came out and participated in the election. And one of the things that also made the youth more participated was undeniably the EndSARS protest, which 10 months prior to that protest, I was in Nigeria, and as I experienced police harassment. But when the protest started, within 2 days, I was able to discover that it had been infiltrated by political actors. They were making false claims and false videos and all of that. And to my greatest surprise, the youth did not understand this. So, and this has also been shown that social media has made it easy to manipulate people. It's made it easy to spread disinformation, and we really can't blame the youth. It's not just even the youth; it's everybody, even including the older folks and the youth. When you think about it, the world still, the Earth still spins at the same speed around about its axis. So we still have 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds in a day. But now we have more to do. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. So we don't have time to think, all of us, including the youth and the older ones. So that is why it has been easier. It has been a lot easier for people to, blow smoke in our eyes, and then we just follow the okie doke, and then the protest.
We'll need you to shed more light on this matter of manipulation and blowing smoke in people's eyes. How do you mean?
So a lot of the I can start with maybe just the answer that occurred. People are still asking questions, like maybe who gave the order. Everybody knows who the commander-in-chief is, right? But social media made it so possible that they just spread a lot of innuendos, and then they make people not believe what they believe. They spread a lot of misinformation that, it gets people confused. Now, people don't filter, right? They don't filter information. Information intelligence is still something that is very, very new in the age of social media. And there are a lot of people, like, as I'm talking to you now, Veronica, if you do the stats, we probably have maybe less than 50,000 people watching us live, and they're probably not going to watch this program again. But you can post something on one of the popular blogs, and you'll get over 1 million views in a short period of time. And these people do not have the regulatory responsibilities that regular, TV stations have. So it is the influencers who probably a lot of them don't even understand what they are influencing about or something, are just being emotional. They have been able to leverage on that influence, which didn't used to occur before. And if you look at it, we can look at the United States. A lot of influencers, like I mentioned, Trump, even before Trump, during the OT party movement, people like Michelle Bachmann and all. Right now, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they are all social media influencers. These are people that, if you look at their resume and even their actions, they do not qualify to be in position of power. But because they've been able to blow smoke, Marjorie Taylor Greene started her career lying about the shooting of kids in Newport, in Newtown, something like that. Kids that were killed. That was how she started her career. Saying people were lying. So that is the major problem of social media, and I feel like that thing has actually affected the level of intellect of the youth nowadays. Like, a lot of the youth participated electorally in this election, but they didn't participate intellectually. They didn't filter information. They didn't try to process. When someone tells them you want to do this, they won't ask you how. Which are some of the things that, back in the days when people had time, when you be one-on-one with your politicians, you want to know how they want to go about all the lofty promises that they have. So because of that, they've been able to use it. And I feel like the government needs to step in, but not in the way they are doing it right now. Because I read about the arrest of like the Chud guy. I mean, I am not a pro Peter Obi person, but I think that was wrong. So that's our what's it called, Cyber Security Act of 2015 or something like that. That law was badly constructed. It gives the government a bad name, and I don't think that is the right way to go about regulating the social media.
Dr. Ludare, just to understand what you're trying to say, we know that in this current media that the mainstream media, talk about television, radio, whatever they say, some people will just follow suit. So we believe that there are parts of the audience that are discerning audience. They can easily tell what is right from what is wrong. Are you saying that the era of the social media, where people are saying that it's an enlightened age, people are quite enlightened, more enlightened than they used to be? Does that the outcome of this 2023 election, maybe build up to the 2023 elections, the way the youth engage the social media? Are you not convinced that this is an age of enlightenment, that the large population of the youth that we have, they are more enlightened than what we think they really are?
No, I do not believe that. Actually, I would say that it's so paradoxical that the easier information accessibility became, the harder knowledge acquisition got, because people don't have knowledge. So they see false information and they think they are enlightened. And I'll tell you a popular case that just came to mind right now. The Labour Party candidate, I think Oboru or something, I can't really remember, Lumidi or something, they had this poster all across, and then it got to the election day, and it was not even on the ballot. His name was not even on the ballot. And the party never cared to let the people know, to publicize it, that this guy is not on the ballot. So this what's it called, engagement should not be misconstrued for enlightenment. It has been easily infested with political actors who have decided to spread smoke and confuse a lot of the youth. And the way the youth also were so uncivil in their political conversations. Like, personally, I didn't plan on being politically active on social media during this election, but then when I saw the amount of invectives and acerbic remarks that, was sent in the way of Asiwaju, and most of them was actually because they failed to understand what he was talking about. And I can give an example that just of one of the memes that's popular on social media right now, where Asiwaju said in just that a dead fish cannot taste good in any soup. And it's a major meme that everybody's saying is stupid, it's a crazy conversation. But what they fail to recognize is that there's a difference between a dead fish and a fish that you caught live and you killed. Everybody knows that if you buy a dead fish and you don't kill it before it dies, you don't use it because it has gone bad. And as a matter of fact, when I heard that thing and I thought about it, it answered the question that I asked my mom 20 years ago, which was, why do we call frozen Titus Okueko? because that meant that the ancient people, that was the first time they saw a dead fish that they could eat because it was frozen. So, these people have access to this information. They don't process it because they don't have time. They have too many things on their feed to check. So that information does not translate into knowledge, and they don't filter the right or the wrong ones. You will see people who should know better.
Dr. Marindoti, we kind of lose you. Are you there?
Right. I guess some
I think we lost
network
connectivity.
People who should know.
Carry on. We have you back.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I said even for the people who should know, information is not translating. Into knowledge for them. So the fact that they have access and they are participating, they just follow a bandwagon. You see, they have a problem, and when you give them, sometimes when you explain some things to them, they'll be like, why didn't this person say it that way? I'm like, well, you shouldn't have to need this much explanation to understand it in the first place. And that's why one of my prayers is that if we can include critical thinking courses in our secondary school curriculum and maybe the first year of university, that is compulsory for all Nigerians, because social media has deprived us of the time and the ability to think. So common, inference we cannot draw. Simple logic, we cannot, have that logical conclusion, no consecution in the execution of our thoughts. So I feel like the government needs to do something whereby the government does not look like it's a big brother trying to chokehold the social media or trying to harass somebody. Because when you see the government, arresting somebody, depriving them of their freedom because of something that they posted, which has not necessarily threatened anybody, that begs on like some freedom of expression and information kind of laws. So we shouldn't try to impinge on people's constitutional rights. But my idea is that we should give people an avenue to seek redress on social media. And this is something that everybody can agree to. Everybody can reason with and accept. Like, I can give an example right now. So let's assume Veronica posts something on her page and I don't like it. And I come on her page and I start cursing her out, which was what happened to a lot of people during this electioneering period. There should be a way whereby, without depriving that person who I don't know of their freedom, I can refer them to like a cyber court. And then we are going to employ definitely Nigerian youth to man those things and look at the facts of the cases, that just the same way you can report a tweet or a post to Instagram, report it to a cyber court, and that cyber judge evaluates it, gives a penalty, like a monetary penalty. And that will not put the government in charge of controlling the social media discourse. It will put the people in charge, give them an avenue for redress. And there are so many other things that needs to be looked into also in social media, the way the laws have been created themselves.
All right. Now, as much as we have concerns with regard to the aspect of people critically thinking, the youth on the social media space, we cannot take away the aspect of they organizing themselves without the necessary structure and achieving what we saw in this 2023 election. How is that changing the narrative that we have always had, our political landscape? How is this changing it moving forward from your point of view?
It's very important too that the politicians have that fear factor that the youth can organize themselves.
Why should they be afraid?
Structure. Well, yes, because there was a fear. The youth showed them. The youth came out. They voted en masse. They showed them that the people have the power, right? Which, either to now, definitely there are a lot of factors. The old, peri-election activities, naira scarcity, fuel scarcity, and everything motivated a lot of people because they were just frustrated, right? So that is why I don't want that ability to organize outside the regular political structure to be dampened. However, my own interest is that I want the youth's ability to understand the situation to be enhanced, because we are going to have to live in this same country together. We need people to be able to understand the problem so that they cannot be taken advantage of, so that they can make informed choices that will better themselves. Otherwise, since politics is a game of numbers, if we don't put a system whereby the people are better enlightened, we are going to be living under, some form of fool's fool's rule, sort of. That's how I'll just characterize it. You are going to be living under rules whereby people are not. I mean, sometimes I worry that in 20 years' time, a country is going to start a hot war based on somebody's tweets. How can that president tweet that about my president, about me, and then they're just going to get into a war if people don't have time to think, and because at the rate at which it's going, where we are even electing social media influencers right now. Right. Whereby people are, the case in point was also in Lagos that just occurred right now, whereby people are now regretting they didn't vote for Banky W, that they voted for an essential ghost. That is that people are not thinking. People need to still be engaged. They should still be able mentality. To even enhance the social media mobilization. But they should be able to think, understand the situation, and make decisions based on that ability to think and inform themselves, and probably get off social media a little bit so that they can have time to think. Because if you spend all your free time on social media, you don't have time to process information, and processing information will always take time.
Well, Nigeria has actually always suffered from the issue of tribalism, ethnicity, the diversity. So we're having some sort of division. It does appear that this last election, the social media also helped amplify the problem that has been extant in Nigeria. Wasn't it going to be a choice of identity, looking at the top three candidates of the APC, the Labour Party, and the PDP? It's as if that, okay, I want to identify with my own candidate based on the fact that we speak the same language, or we came from the same, parts, the same ethnic group, right, in the country. So that's how do we now use social media to engender unity in Nigeria rather than division, which even the users, the netizens, are making use of the social media to divide us more.
Yeah, that's one of the saddest, part of the whole situation of the story of this election, whereby, social media should be a melting pot where everybody comes together, but then it can also be easily used to divide people, to polarize the people. That's part of the impact that, social media has had all along. And ethnicity, tribalism is something that has occurred everywhere. People probably don't think about it, but even in the United States, the elections are tribal. You have some states that will never vote for Democrats because they are right-leaning states. So, so the issue with tribalism and people being able to spread that information to a wide range of people, mobilize. First off, I don't want to take away from the fact that people are at liberty to base their decision on whatever. So if you want to vote for someone because the person represents your ethnic group, that is your prerogative, and you don't need to explain it to anybody, But the fact that people now, turn it into hate for the other ethnic group or something, that is one thing that I do not, agree with or subscribe to. And I'll make a reference to one experience that I had lately. So I did make a video about the inability of the Labour Party candidates to speak Yoruba. And I made it from the point of view that this is a Yoruba man who wants to represent Yoruba people. I am a doctor. I know the problem that occurs when I see a patient that I cannot talk to. You need to be able to understand it. But a lot of people turn that into a tribal war, like I don't want him because his mother is evil. No. I believe you are supposed to, you represent where you were born. You cannot, someone whose parents is from Enugu or grew up in Lagos, he is a Lagosian. That person, he or she should claim Lagos as where they are from and speak the language so that they can relate with the people. But it is easy on social media to have people who I've known for all of my adulthood to call me names, despite the fact that I never addressed that kind of a situation. I was just talking from a point of, if you want to represent the people, you should be able to relate to them. So social media, the only way to really, really use social media to stop the hate on social media is, I think, to reduce the velocity of social media, really. I don't think, because social media has polarized the whole world, I don't think there was anybody in this world prior to January 6, 2021, that we believe American citizens will attack the seat of their democracy. That is the impact of social media. And what is causing this thing is the fact that the social media companies, so just a background, there's the particular Communication Decency Act in the United States that has a Section 230 that is called the 26 words that make social media. That section treated social media companies as mere distributors and not publishers of things that are posted on their platform. So because of that, you can't sue them, and that allowed them to grow. However, after that section was passed, the social media companies changed the rule by creating something they call algorithm, and those algorithms are used to target you. So, for example, if I have a sex addiction and I check lewd materials on social media, they are going to keep on suggesting it to me. And it is the same thing with politics. If you watch pro-Trump or let's say Peter Obi, even materials on social media, they keep targeting you. And that thing polarizes us because we don't get to hear the other side. We don't have a balance of information. So since these social media companies have created an algorithm, that is the creation of their own, they should be held accountable for the algorithms that they have created that have polarized us. And Absolutely. That is the only way whereby we can now start to achieve unity with social media. I don't know if you can still hear me because I think my audio is down. Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. So that is the only, okay, thank you. So that is the only way by which we can, use social media to end. We can make social media end this polarization. When people hear the balanced opinion, when these social media companies don't keep flooding us with content they think we have interest in just so that they can keep us on their platform and they can make a lot more profit. Exactly. That is the only way I think we can get out of the rut of social media polarization.
All right. Dr. Marindoti Oludare, the convener of Social Rehabilitation Grace and Support Initiative, thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much.